what's up, y'all? It's poppin'. About to react to this Patrick CC vid. It's titled "How This Disturbing Hollywood Creep Lost Everything." This is about Kevin Spacey. I definitely heard Kevin Spacey was a weirdo and he got canceled or whatever, but I don't know exactly what he did. I was assuming it was some, PDF stuff, but I don't know the details. I never looked into it. I mean, I do like a few of his movies, but he wasn't an actor that I was really into, so I just didn't care to even look into it. But sure, let's see exactly what happened with him and how he lost everything. Let's watch.
Kevin Spacey became a widely beloved actor with his portrayal of complex, borderline psychopathic characters. Men who were charming yet twisted, smug yet relatable. His accuracy in embodying such roles made the allegations of predatory behavior against him believable. In Hollywood, a single allegation can destroy a career, particularly if it aligns with public perception. Spacey's career was defined by his embodiment of morally ambiguous characters, which made the real-life accusations against him seem plausible. But Spacey didn't have just one accusation. He had more than 50, which, as you can imagine, led to his career coming to a screeching halt in 2017 when the allegations came to light. Today, he says he is flat broke, facing foreclosure.
Where do you live now? Well, it's funny you asked that question, because this week, where I have been living in Baltimore, is being foreclosed on. My house is being sold at auction.
Why is it being foreclosed?
Because I can't pay the bills that I owe.
Although Kevin is not currently exonerated from all charges, he has had some victories in court. Many people still support Spacey. They see him as a victim of false allegations and cancel culture. However, others say there are simply too many allegations for this to be a smear
Everybody
campaign.
ain't lying on you.
Not to mention that two of his accusers conveniently died during their legal pursuits against the actor. Today, we're going to dive into the mysterious case of Kevin Spacey, examine the interplay between public perception and career longevity, the media's role in all of this, as well as analyze the cryptic messages he left us along the way.
Because I can promise you this. If I didn't pay the price for the things we both know I did do, I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't do.
Amid the accusations making headlines, many people expressed anger and disappointment since Spacey is a beloved actor with an amazing career catalog. His acting origins began in high school, where Kevin pursued musical theater after failing to become a comedian. Spacey graduated from Chatsworth High School in Los Angeles, California. He packed his bags and moved across the country to attend Juilliard in New York City from 1979 to 1981.
Unusual
Throughout the
Suspects
1980s,
was
Kevin
goated
took his
too.
first
Oh yeah,
step
he got
into
some
professional
bangers.
acting. He performed on Broadway, starring in a production of Henrik Ibsen's Ghosts, Malaire's The Misanthrope, and David Robb's Hurly Burly, among others. By the mid-80s, his profile grew substantially, performing on Broadway while simultaneously appearing in film and television. After substantial roles in films like See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Dad, Spacey won a Tony Award in 1991 for his portrayal of Uncle Louie in Neil Simon's Broadway hit Lost in Yonkers. For the next 5 years, he continued to establish himself in Hollywood, gaining prominence for his role as Verbal Kint in the 1995 crime thriller film The Usual Suspects. His performance as the enigmatic criminal won him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Thank you so much, Mom, for driving me to those acting classes on Ventura Boulevard when I was 16. I told you they would pay off, and here's the pudding.
Spacey then appeared in blockbuster films like Outbreak, Seven, A Time to Kill, LA Confidential, The Negotiator, and American Beauty, where Kevin received praise for his performances before earning another Tony Award nomination in 1999 for a revival of Eugene O'Neill's Broadway play, The Iceman Cometh. That same year, he earned his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, his career took a bit of a nosedive throughout the early 2000s as Spacey failed to produce another commercial hit. In 2006, he appeared as Lex Luthor in what should have been a blockbuster hit in the form of Superman Returns, but the film earned a disappointing $391 million worldwide on a $223 million budget, forcing Warner Brothers to cancel the sequel. Outside of the 2008 heist drama film 21, which Spacey helped produce, and the comedy film Horrible Bosses, it seemed like Kevin had reached a point in his career where the number of quality roles available started to decrease. As we approached the 2010s, we started to get in the full swing of the fast food era of movies. CGI, pretty-faced actors, recycled plots, predictable endings, while straying away from the types of films that Spacey thrived in. Character-driven, slow-paced, twisted, and unpredictable. Although he was a talented actor, Spacey Spacey wasn't considered a box office draw, nor did he acquire the same star power as a Brad Pitt or Will Smith. Amid what seemed to be the slow decay of his career, Spacey had a resurgence in 2013 with the Netflix original series House of Cards. His career was back at an all-time high in the mid-2010s until some shocking allegations would be revealed, bringing his career to a screeching halt and ultimately causing the downfall he is still trying to recover from. Oh, and by the way, we are so close to reaching 2 million subscribers, so if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. I love making these videos for you guys, although, not gonna lie, from the planning, to the scripting, to the editing, it can be quite taxing on me. And that's where the sponsor of today's video, fine, it's like, 20. Spacey's downfall, we look to life projects that seemed out of reach before. Before we dive into Spacey's downfall, we must first understand the undoubtedly predatory Hollywood culture, as well as understand the business of unearthing allegations. It's far too common in Hollywood that people in positions of authority have abused their power, exploiting aspiring actors and staff through coercion, harassment, and assault, thus creating the casting couch phenomenon, where both men and women are pressured into providing favors in exchange for career advancement. The pervasive culture of silence and fear of retaliation has allowed these abuses to continue unchecked for decades. However, in the past few years, justice is beginning to be served, as we see more and more powerful predators get exposed for their harmful crimes. This has resulted in victims feeling empowered and confident to speak up about their experiences, because they know they have a better chance of being believed and not silenced or ridiculed. But some people believe that the pendulum has swung the other way, and now allegations are being used as a tactic for people to get attention or simply cancel the people they don't like. There is no doubt that the media is benefiting from these allegations, whether true or false. If anyone goes on social media and makes an allegation, you might see mainstream publications talking about it the very next day. Since nobody really buys magazines or newspapers anymore, these media outlets are reliant on website traffic so they can sell advertising slots to brands. The more page views they get, the more money they make from ads. Same thing with YouTubers. Therefore, they are incentivized to come up with the best, juiciest headline to get someone to click. But with attention spans dropping rapidly, most people click, read the horrifying accusations, and just take them as fact. People say things like, oh yeah, I heard that person was a PDF file, or oh yeah, I heard that person is a rapist. And those conversations spread like wildfire. The readers get their shocking news, the publications get their ad revenue, and the alleged perpetrator just kind of has to deal with it. Now, if the allegations turn out to be true, then, well, it's not like we feel bad for the perpetrator, right? If the allegations turn out to be untrue, or the claimant recants their statement or walks it back somehow, those same publications who initially reported don't often report the news that would exonerate the alleged perpetrator. That's because most people probably don't click on the "he's innocent" article, so no money in that, and nobody wants to admit that they were wrong and got duped into spreading misinformation. Plus, no matter what new information comes to light or what the results of legal proceedings are, some people will still think in the back of their mind that what initially was alleged could be true. This is why public perception and branding is so important. If the world sees you as this nice, unproblematic guy, then an allegation probably won't take you down. But in the case of Kevin Spacey, there were just far too many allegations, and it just seemed believable. The reason I put so much emphasis on seemed is because according to the legal proceedings and the courts as of right now, he's innocent. But according to the public, he's guilty. So let's dive in. It all began in 2017 when actor Anthony Rapp would be the first public Kevin Spacey accuser. Anthony is mostly known for his appearance in the science fiction television series Star Trek Discovery. In an interview with BuzzFeed News, Rapp claimed actor Kevin Spacey made an unwanted sexual advance towards him in 1986 when Rapp was 14 and Spacey was 26. At the time, Rapp and Spacey were performing on Broadway when Spacey invited Rapp to a party at his home. According to Rapp, he was the only child in attendance and didn't notice that he was the only guest left until a seemingly intoxicated Kevin hoisted him into bed. He picked me up like a groom picks up the bride over the threshold, but I don't squirm away initially because I'm like, what's going on? And he lays down on top of me. He was trying to seduce me, Rapp recalled. I don't know if I would have used that language, but I was aware that he was trying to get with me. Rapp eventually squirmed free from underneath Spacey, collecting himself in the bathroom before informing Kevin that he was leaving. He followed me to the front door of the apartment, and as I opened the door to leave, he was leaning on the front door frame, and he was like, "Are you sure you want to go?" I said, "Yes, good night." and then I did leave. At one point, Rapp met with a lawyer to discuss the incident. The lawyer told him there was no case worth pursuing. Although Kevin's behavior sounds incredibly creepy, it doesn't really seem like he's being accused of a crime here. But the media absolutely exploded with this story. Spacey responded to the accusation with a tweet saying that he did not remember the encounter, but quote, "If I did behave then as he describes, I owe him the sincerest..."
Nah, this is guilty as fuck. What? What? If you're not a PDF file, you would be like, what the fuck? This never happened. This nigga's lying. That's disgusting. I would never come on to a fucking teenager. What? But you like, I don't know if I came on to you. I'm not sure. But if I did, I'm sorry. Nah, this is guilty. That's all I need to know. If he actually released this statement, this is very guilty language. Excuse me?
Apology for what would have been deeply inappropriate drunken behavior.
Nah.
This is definitely a strange way to respond to this allegation.
Very strange.
Like saying you don't remember kind of leaves the door open for the story being true. And it wouldn't have just been inappropriate behavior, it would have been sexual assault and pedophilia. Right. Additionally, he concluded the apology by saying, "I have had relationships with both men and women. I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man." Many people felt like he was trying to deflect or gain sympathy by pandering to the LGBTQ community. News outlets would report on the statements from other celebrities who believed Spacey was attempting to change the subject and shift focus away from Rapp's accusations. The next day, October 30th, Roberto Cavazos, who is a Mexican actor, made accusations that he says are on the verge of being called harassment. In a translated post, he said, "There are many of us who have a Kevin Spacey story. It seems that all you had to do was be a man under 30 for Mr. Spacey to feel free to touch you. It was so common that it even became a local joke."
Wow.
In very bad taste. The next day, October 31st, Daniel Beal told The Sun he was having a cigarette break when the Oscar-winning actor sat beside him on a bench, flashed his privates and said, "It's big, isn't it?" Disgusted Dan returned to work at the bar, only to be followed by Spacey, who insisted the then 19-year-old take his expensive Swiss watch. Dan said yesterday, "I thought he was joking, but he took off his watch and gave it to me. Looking back, I realized it was to keep me quiet." Also on October 31st, an anonymous man named John told the BBC that he met Spacey in 1984 when he was 16, and they stayed in touch by writing letters to one another. When John was 17, Spacey invited him for a weekend at his New York City home, where he was, quote, "charming and brotherly." On the first night, Spacey became affectionate in ways John found unwelcome. He put his hand on John's thigh, an arm around his shoulder, and rubbed his arm. At bedtime, John said Spacey asked him to share his bed, but John insisted on sleeping on the sofa. The following morning, John said he woke up with Spacey's head on his stomach and his arms wrapped around him. Some people were suspicious as to the way that these accusations were coming out. It's rare for victims to share their stories, and it is uncommon for men to admit that they were assaulted, especially by another man. Some people looked at this as a calculated attack on Spacey's career, whereas others think that he was such a predator that these victims finally felt comfortable sharing their trauma. These allegations were unearthed at a critical time for Spacey, as he was receiving a career resurgence with his role as Francis J. Underwood in the Netflix original series House of Cards. House of Cards is based on the 1989 novel of the same name. The series is a political drama that follows the ruthless and ambitious Frank Underwood as he navigates the treacherous landscape of Washington, D.C. After being passed over for the position of Secretary of State, Frank, a cunning and manipulative House Majority Whip, embarks on a calculated quest for power. Alongside his equally ambitious wife, Frank employs a combination of manipulation, betrayal, and even murder to climb the political ladder. The series delves into themes of power, corruption, and the dark side of American politics, showcasing Frank's ruthless pursuit of the presidency and the moral compromises he makes along the way. To say this show was a hit is a massive understatement. It is potentially the best Netflix original in their entire catalog. House of Cards is the first original online-only streaming television series to receive major Emmy nominations. The show also earned 8 Golden Globe Award nominations, with Robin Wright winning for Best Actress in 2014 and Spacey winning for Best Actor in 2015. However, amid allegations from Anthony Rapp, filming was suspended on the 6th and final season of House of Cards.
I couldn't continue watching scandal either.
After, Spacey was removed from the cast and his executive producer role. Without Spacey on the show, it suffered immensely, which led to the season ending abruptly in the worst way possible in the middle of season 6. It's also important to consider that Kevin embodied the character of Frank Underwood so well. He was so evil and conniving that it just strengthened people's beliefs that he was guilty. Also, these weird, cryptic YouTube videos he posted did not help him, but we'll get to that later. Spacey's future projects were also either canceled or recast. The biographical film Gore, starring Spacey, which Netflix planned to distribute, was canceled, and the network proceeded to sever all ties with him. He was scheduled to appear in the biographical crime thriller All the Money in the World. However, his scenes were cut out and Christopher Plummer replaced him in reshoots. In an interview with Variety, Plummer explained, "I think it's very sad what happened to him. Kevin is such a talented and terrifically gifted actor, and it's so sad. It's such a shame. That's all I can say, because that's it." In just 5 days since Anthony Rapp's initial allegations, Kevin Spacey was losing his career, but more victims were being revealed nearly every day. When Justin Dawes was 16 years old in 1988, he said Spacey, who was 29, invited him and a male friend over to watch a movie, but instead gave him a cocktail and played gay prawn. Justin says that Spacey invited just them two and nobody else, resulting in an awkward situation. "He knew that I was in high school," he said. "It was pretty clear. But while he found the situation sleazy and manipulative, he said it was not intimidating or pushy. At the time, the 16-year-old felt like he should have realized that Spacey wanted him to come over for reasons related to SAG. Like maybe this was kind of a coded thing or something that I agreed to." Again, these people were not necessarily trying to accuse Spacey of a crime, but rather trying to highlight his creepy behavior. Filmmaker Tony Montana accused Spacey of groping him in 2003.
Kevin approached me. I smiled.
All these people
He
ain't
leaned
lying.
in. His right arm was around my shoulder, and he put his hand underneath the bar, and that's when he grabbed me. And he grabbed me very hard.
Especially when men are speaking out, they really face a lot of backlash because people definitely start to look at them differently, and then they start to accuse them of being gay, and all the backlash associated with that. So it's like, why would they want to come out and lie? Like, obviously, women get a lot of backlash as well, but men definitely, when they're exposing that another man came onto them.
And I've never been groped before, and
sorry, backlash is probably not the best word. They get a lot of, what is the word that I'm looking for? Because definitely not backlash, because I feel like if anything, a lot of people believe them, like, oh, but I feel like people make fun of them and judge them. I'll say that. They get a lot of judgment. There you go. That's the better word. Maybe not backlash. They get a lot of judgment.
And he looked at me, and he's in a very sobering voice, and this sardonic look in his face said, "This designates ownership. He's not a big guy,
Sorry,
but he was a person with power. And his power at that moment rendered me helpless."
Montana told the Los Angeles Times, "I'm not going after Kevin for money. I don't wish him any ill will. It's just, he did something 14 years ago that's affecting not only him, but all the people who work on that show." Actor Harry Dreyfuss claimed that Kevin Spacey groped him at age 18 during a script reading session, while his father, actor Richard Dreyfuss, was in the room. Over the course of about 20 seconds, centimeter by centimeter, Kevin crawled his hand from my thigh toward my crotch. My mind went blank. Suddenly, he had completed his journey, and now he had all of me in his hand. I stopped reading the script, and my eyes went wide. On November 2nd, 2017, Variety reported that Kevin's publicist, Stacey Wolf, and his talent agency, Creative Artists Agency, were parting ways with him. On November 8th, a former news anchor, Heather Unruh, accused Spacey of groping her son at a Nantucket bar in July of 2016.
Actor Kevin Spacey sexually assaulted my son. The victim, my son, was a starstruck, straight, 18-year-old young man. Kevin Spacey bought him drink after drink.
See how she want to point out that he was straight because she's trying to prevent that judgment.
Was drunk.
That's irrelevant. He was a
Spacey
child.
made his move and sexually assaulted him. And I want to make it clear, this was a criminal act. Spacey stuck his hand inside my son's pants and grabbed his genitals. This was completely unexpected. And my son's efforts to shift his body to remove Spacey's hand were only momentarily successful. The violation continued. My son panicked, he froze. A concerned woman quickly came to my very shaken son's side and asked if he was okay. She told him to run, and he did. He ran as fast as he could, all the way to his grandmother's house.
It's important to remember
this is ex-news anchor's son. Like, what do they have to gain from lying about this?
Nantucket incident because this is one of the ones that would escalate to a formal trial. 1 week after that, headlines emerged stating that at least 20 young men over the age of 18 had come forward at the London theater, the Old Vic, to report alleged sexual misconduct by Spacey. The Old Vic is a 1,000-seat, not-for-profit producing theater in London. Spacey was the artistic director of the Old Vic between 2004 and 2015. This allegation essentially paints the picture that Spacey was using this theater, which was constantly filled with underage aspiring actors, as a way for him to have constant direct access to children he could prey on.
Yeah.
On October 31st, 2017, the Old Vic engaged an external law firm, Lewis Silkin, to undertake the investigation with a remit to look into the claims made in the media and elsewhere. This investigation concluded that there have been 20 personal allegations of incidents relating to the Old Vic ranging from 1995 to 2013, with the majority, all but 2, falling before 2009. And if you think that was very non-descriptive, take a look at this middle paragraph. No legal claims, formal grievances, formal disputes, settlement agreements, or payments made or authorized were made at all in relation to Kevin Spacey during his tenure. It has also not been possible to verify any of these allegations, and it is important to note that Kevin Spacey has not commented on them. The review cannot therefore make any findings of fact about the alleged misconduct. I get that they have to clarify this for legal reasons, but doesn't that admission basically nullify this entire press release? It says that 20 people allege Kevin Spacey of inappropriate behavior, but they don't define what that inappropriate behavior is. Is it touching? Is it kissing? Is it sexual advances? Is it taking his shirt off and rubbing his nipples? Is it farting in the theater? They don't mention any of the claimants' names, they don't share any of their testimonies, and they said they hired a lawyer to investigate the claims and can't verify if any of the claims or allegations are true. If you can believe it, I didn't even include all of the allegations that are out there. Some outlets have reported as little as 15 people that have spoke out against him, and some report as many as 50 people that have spoke out against him. And even after doing the research myself, I couldn't even give you a number, but it is a lot. But there does seem to be a pattern. Some of the allegations are just vaguely describing creepy and inappropriate behavior, which is technically not a crime, whereas others are accusing him of groping or grabbing their private parts, which is most certainly sexual assault. Now, the sheer volume of accusations as well as the vagueness makes some people look at it suspiciously, like it's a calculated Hollywood hit piece, whereas others just look at the massive amount of allegations as confirmation that he is a horrible predator. Now people just have the confidence to actually speak their truth. But this cryptic video he posted at the end of 2018 only made things worse for him. In a video titled "Let Me Be Frank," posted on Christmas Eve 2018, he is method acting as his character Frank Underwood from House of Cards, where he seemingly drops coded messages that are technically him playing a character, but he seems to address his real-life accusations.
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong, it's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I. I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you exactly what people are capable of. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think. And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy? If it was all so simple. Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? Because I can promise you this.
Yeah, he's talking about himself for sure.
If I didn't pay the price for the things we both know I did do, I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't do.
If he is innocent, this is brilliant. If he is guilty, this is disturbing. 3 months after this video was posted, Linda Culkin, who was arrested for stalking Kevin Spacey in 2014, died. Between 2009 and 2011, federal investigators said Culkin mailed threats to several people in their workplaces in the United States and abroad. One of her hoax bomb threats caused police in a foreign city to evacuate a building and close off a neighborhood. Another, an envelope that contained a white powder that looked similar to anthrax, caused people nearby to be quarantined and fear for their health. Prosecutors also said that she was obsessed with actor Kevin Spacey, saying she threatened to kill the actor. She also sent bomb threats to 2 of his workplaces and sent threats to his co-workers and associates. Culkin had in her apartment a picture of Spacey with his eyes blacked out and mouth scribbled out, and multiple copies of a page entitled "Killing Kevin Spacey," authorities said. After the stalker passed away, many news outlets were reporting that she was an accuser or she had some sort of information that she was unleashing about Kevin Spacey, but I couldn't find anything to support those claims. Basically, it was just a coincidence. Midway through 2019, Spacey was arraigned in a Nantucket courtroom on an indecent assault and battery charge for the alleged incident where he groped the 18-year-old Heather Unruh's son. Keep in mind that the vast majority of the allegations that were coming out were many decades old, whereas this one reportedly happened in July of 2016, so it was well within the statute of limitations for a criminal proceeding. On May 30th, 2019, Nantucket District Court Judge Thomas Barrett granted access by Spacey's attorneys to 6 months of the alleged victim's text messages following the alleged incident, and the surveillance video from the club car, the location where the incident took place and where Unruh's son worked as a busboy, from 5 p.m. July 7th, 2016 to 3 a.m. July 8th, according to court records. On May 31st, Spacey's defense attorneys alleged that the accuser erased potentially incriminating text messages from the time surrounding his encounter with Spacey before providing screenshots of their conversation to the police. Clearly, the accuser has gone to great lengths to remove text messages he believes did not fit his narrative, defense attorney Alan Jackson wrote in the filing. The prosecution is aware of this and hid that information from the defense. On June 20th, the court was informed that the accuser's cell phone had mysteriously gone missing and was nowhere to be found. The judge then ordered if the phone was not located by July 8th, then the accuser and his family had to testify about what happened, and by July 8th, the cell phone was never found. The accuser testified from the witness stand where he acknowledged a typo in the police report. It was initially revealed to the court that he reported the assault in October of 2016, which was 3 months after it allegedly happened. He then admitted that he actually reported the assault in October of 2017, 15 months after it allegedly happened, which was exactly the same time that all of the other allegations were coming out against Kevin Spacey. After he was asked about the typo, as well as the deleted text messages and the missing phone, he decided to invoke his Fifth Amendment right and remain silent.
He's the sole witness that can establish the circumstances of his allegation on the night in question. This case needs to be dismissed, and I believe it needs to be dismissed today.
The judge seemed to agree, saying he wasn't sure if the case would continue or collapse. The accuser's mother, a former Boston TV anchor, admitted today,
I deleted a few things.
With deleted evidence and now refusing to give a testimony, there was no case, so it was dropped. But there was another man who was suing Kevin Spacey. The anonymous accuser, who said he decided not to reveal his identity for fear of harassment and personal embarrassment, filed the lawsuit in September of 2018. He alleged that during a massage in October of 2016, Spacey forced him to touch his genitals before asking if he could perform oral on him. The case was filed at the Los Angeles Superior Court, then was moved to a federal court, and a pre-trial conference had been scheduled for May of 2019. However, we never got to go to trial because the accuser died. A source told Variety that the accuser died of cancer. Therefore, the case was dismissed. Spacey, likely feeling happy about having 2 cases back-to-back dismissed, he uploaded another cryptic video as Frank Underwood titled KTWK, an acronym for Kill Them With Kindness.
Nah, he creepy for these videos, bro.
You didn't really think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, did you? It's been a pretty good year, and I'm grateful to have my health back. And in light of that, I've made some changes in my life, and I'd like to invite you to join me. As we walk into 2020, I want to cast my vote for...
And this is not even normal, bro. That bro been over. You been stopped doing that. So why you still in character and posting this shit on YouTube? This is weird.
More good in this world.
Ah, yes. I know what you're thinking. Can he be serious?
I'm dead serious. And it's not that hard, trust me. The next time someone does something you don't like, you can go on the attack, but you can also hold your fire and do the unexpected. You can kill them with kindness.
This guy definitely has a professional hitman friend named Kindness. And would you believe that the very next day after this YouTube video was posted, Christmas Day, December 25th, 2019, another Kevin Spacey accuser took his own life. Ari Ben was a Norwegian author who told the BBC about the alleged incident dated back to 2007. We had a great talk. He sat right beside me. After 5 minutes, he said, "Hey, let's go out and have a cigarette." Then he puts his hand under the table and grabs me by the balls. I should mention that Ari was not trying to pursue a legal case against Spacey. His death, again, is just merely a coincidence that he had accused Kevin of misconduct in the past. But Spacey's legal troubles were not over. Remember Anthony Rapp, the actor who was the first to expose Spacey's alleged behavior? Well, he finally decided to sue Spacey 3 years after he made the initial allegations, which originally took place in 1986. In the suit, Rapp was joined by a man who requested to remain anonymous and accused Spacey of abusing him in 1983, when he was 14 and Spacey was 24. However, on June 17, 2021, the anonymous accuser was dismissed from the case due to his refusal to publicly identify himself. As Rapp's trial against Spacey commenced in October of 2022, it was revealed that Rapp provided an inaccurate description of the apartment where the alleged abuse took place. On October 17th, the judge dismissed the emotional distress charges as a duplicate of all the battery charges. Not only did the jury find Spacey not liable of all charges, but they actually ordered Rapp to pay Spacey $39,000 in damages. And it somehow gets even crazier. A judge has ordered Kevin Spacey to pay House of Cards production company MRC nearly $31 million for alleged misconduct behind the scenes. MRC argued that Spacey owed them millions in lost profits because his misconduct forced them to remove him from the 6th season of the show, and it had to trim the season from 13 episodes to 8. Again, they don't exactly detail what alleged inappropriate behavior took place, but the judge found that Spacey violated MRC's harassment policy with respect to 5 House of Cards crew members. Despite this ruling, in February 2024, Spacey reached an agreement with MRC to reduce a $31 million judgment to $1 million. But in return, Spacey will back arguments from MRC in a legal battle against its insurer that he was written out of the show because he was too sick to return, which would allow them to collect on a $150 million insurance policy. These people don't care about victims. They care about money. They tried to get $30 million from Spacey, and they realized that they couldn't, or maybe he couldn't pay. So then they teamed up with Spacey to convince the insurance company that he was too sick to perform in the show, and that's why they fired him, which could have potentially granted them an up to $150 million payday. But we all know he wasn't too sick to perform. He was canceled for being an alleged sexual deviant PDF file. But Spacey was fighting yet another case in the United Kingdom after he was charged by the Crown Prosecution Service, or CPS, with 4 counts of sexual assault against 3 different complainants on May 26, 2022. The alleged offenses occurred between 2005 and 2013 in London and Gloucestershire. Yeah, that's the best I got for that town name. Then a few months later, they added an additional 7 charges against Spacey, all related to a single complainant arising from incidents alleged to have occurred between 2001 and 2004. One of the victims claims Spacey, quote, approached him and gave him a hug, kissed his neck, grabbed his crotch, and squeezed while telling the man to be cool, be cool. Another victim alleged that he had been drugged by the actor and said he woke up to Spacey performing a sexual act on him. But after a month-long trial, a jury acquitted Spacey of all charges.
I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken the time to examine all of the evidence and all of the facts carefully before they reach their decision. And I am humbled by the outcome today.
Being acquitted is slightly different than being found not guilty. Acquittal means that the prosecution did not present enough evidence to prove Spacey as guilty.
Exactly, so that don't mean he's innocent. I don't care about how these cases turned out, okay? Because the legal system is very fucking flawed. R. Kelly got away with shit for a very long time, okay? He kept dodging jail time and kept going to court and prevailing and getting right back to music. So this don't mean shit.
guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. For the past 6 to 7 years, Spacey has been in non-stop legal battles, and although he has yet to be proven guilty of a crime, he has entirely lost his career. Unable to make any money from movies and television, he claims he is facing foreclosure and possible bankruptcy on an interview with Piers Morgan.
Are you facing bankruptcy?
Been a couple of times when I thought I was going to file, but we've managed to sort of dodge it.
How much money do you have?
None. I still owe a lot of legal bills.
You're actually in debt?
Yes.
Do you mind me asking how much you owe?
It's considerable.
Millions?
Many millions, yes.
I had no idea he won. The media is disgusting.
Girl.
What is bizarre is that the allegations were heavily publicized, but the fact that he was found guilty of none of them was barely covered publicly, leaving most people who haven't actually followed events carefully still under the impression he was found guilty. If we were to piece together all of the allegations, this is what the media and victims were trying to convey to the public. Kevin Spacey was seemingly preying on sometimes underage boys as well as young men who were questioning their sexuality, or at least he thought they were questioning their sexuality. He then lured them in with his power and esteemed status, and based on a lot of these victims' testimonials, he was giving them the impression that he was interested in them sexually, whether through verbal cues or body language or situational cues. However, there were also tons of accusations of him straight up grabbing them or groping them or touching them inappropriately or kissing them, hoping they were also interested in him. Many of them mentioned that the moment they showed some pushback or some resistance that he seemingly gave up. If any of this is true, at best, it's still assault. Like, none of this could be really deemed as flirting.
Exactly.
And at worst, it's potentially pedophilia and R-wording. The victims often say that they froze or panicked in the moment. They didn't know how to push him away or really escape from the situation. Then they didn't report the crimes because they didn't want their masculinity to be questioned, or they didn't want people to know or think they were gay, or they didn't think anyone would care or believe them. Very similar reasons why female victims of SA don't often speak up. The victims had more reasons to stay silent than to speak up, which seemingly allowed Spacey to act in this predatory manner for decades. But again, all of this is just alleged because, well, he was never found guilty of any of this. You have to ask yourself, is the sheer volume of accusations enough to prove that he is guilty of being this horrible predator? Because again, he was not found guilty of any crime. Innocent until proven guilty. Right? Does his method acting tendencies and creepy YouTube videos make you believe that he was essentially flaunting his power and ability to get away with such heinous crimes? So. And does this make you look at his art and movie characters differently? Even after knowing all of this information, can you separate the art from the artist? Well, that's up for you to decide.
Stay hydrated.
Drink water. And subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, this man is guilty. I don't care. That's my opinion. And everybody leaning on, oh, well, he wasn't found guilty. Like, this fucking legal system is so fucked up. So many people get off. And so many people are falsely, like, accused of shit. And then spend years in jail. And you find out years later that they actually were innocent. Like, so you cannot even rely on that or use that as any type of evidence of his innocence. These people had nothing to gain, okay? It's not like they were trying to get money or clout out of him. A lot of them were even embarrassed to speak up and say anything because they didn't want to have that judgment on them. And his statement was so guilty. The fuck you mean that, oh, I don't remember if I came onto a minor, but if I did, I'm sorry, my bad. What? If you're not a PDF file, your response is going to be, what the fuck? I would never do anything like that. That's disgusting. This is completely false. Like, drunk or not, I'm not about to go against my morals completely and do some weirdo shit. Like, that's not even in my head. Like, what? So I would know that I didn't do that, regardless of how drunk I was. So that is the main piece of evidence that lets me know that this man is guilty. Like, fuck out of here. So that's just my opinion on the situation. But sure, I guess some people want to believe that he's innocent, even though all of these cases have come out. All of these people have spoken out against him. But I don't know. Whatever. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.